I was on a bus and a whale got on. The recorded announcement said, "Please move down the bus so there is room for passengers getting on the bus. Please move down the bus so that there is room for passengers getting on the bus." So we moved down the bus and the whale squeezed in and the doors closed. I was next to the whale. It said, "Sorry, I'm dripping." "No worries," I said. "Same thing happens to me when I'm wearing my waterproof coat." "What, this much?" said the whale. I didn't want to make the whale feel bad, so I said, "Well, yes, actually." "Do people complain?" the whale said. And I lied. I said, "Yes," when in actual fact, no one had ever complained. "I can't see all the way round the back of me," the whale said. "Could you look to see if I'm dripping over everyone back there?" "Sure," I said, and I looked. People were getting showered. Yeah, there is a bit of dripping going on," I said. "I knew it," said the whale. "Do you have a towel on you?" "No," I said. I don't usually carry a towel around." "Well," said the whale, "isn't that typical?" "Is it?" I said. "You get on a bus, you're dripping wet, you ask for a bit of help, a bit of sympathy, and all you get is nastiness. What is it with people these days?" "I'm sorry," I said. I just don't have a towel." And then it all went quiet. It was all a bit tense, awkward, and all you could hear was a dripping sound. Drip, 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 drip. A treasure trove of nonsense. And now, even more nonsense, with me, Michael Rosen. Something that smells. Something that smells we call a scent. Two things that smell we call scents. So something that doesn't smell we can call a non-scent. And two things that don't smell we can call non-scents. If you ask me, that sounds like nonsense. Walking home in the night, walking home in the night, looking into houses, seeing all the lights, lights in the windows, lights in the doors, lights up the stairs, lights on all the floors. But my house is odd. My house is strange. The moment I reach home, I can see that it's changed. There's water in the room where I go to sleep. Water everywhere. Water really deep. There's a man in the kitchen. I see him swimming past. There's a girl in the lounge. She's swimming fast. There are people upstairs splashing water at each other. There's a girl in the window splashing her little brother, and swimming round and round my bedroom wall is my Uncle Jack with his old beach ball. And isn't that my neighbour's daughter? Yes, that's my neighbour's daughter. She came round for a swim because my house is full of water. My house is not a house. I feel such a fool. I used to live here, but my house is now a pool. Plonky wonky doodah. Plonky wonky doodah, chatting online. Plonky wonky doodah, chatting all the time. Plonky wonky doodah, computer nerd. Plonky wonky doodah, don't be so rude. Plonky wonky doodah, it's time for your food. Plonky wonky doodah hasn't even heard. My friend Elsie. My friend Elsie got very hot. My friend Elsie got a big spot. My friend Elsie started to drink. My friend Elsie started to stink. My friend Elsie went all red. My friend Elsie went to bed. My friend Elsie had to stay in. My friend Elsie got very thin. My friend Elsie in the midnight hour. My friend Elsie turned into a flower. My friend Elsie smells so sweet. My friend Elsie has lost her feet. My friend Elsie has lost her boots. My friend Elsie has grown deep roots. The great big hole. Look at the road. Look at the road. Right in the middle is a great big hole. What shall we do? What shall we do when we get close to the great big hole? I walk round, right round the edge of the great big hole. But you fall in, you disappear in the great big hole. Now there's me, just me on my own, and a great big hole. The cat went out. The cat went out on a chilly night and looked up at the distant stars. Why should I live at 23? I'd rather live on Mars. I could go wherever I want. I could become a stray. I could stay at 49 or walk the Milky Way. The telescope she had from the man at 33, she pointed at the sky to see what she could see. Oh no! Oh yes, she gasped, stunned by what was there, for high in the heavens above was the gleaming planet Chair. Zooming round the earth at 1,000,000 miles an hour was a comfy yellow chair, trailing a golden shower. She stared at it spinning. I want to fly up there. I want to get near enough to sit on that lovely chair. I'll put some milk in a flask and a fish in my pocket. I'll find me a helmet and take off in a rocket. She whisked her whiskers and twitched her face. I'll be the world's first stray cat in space. And she did just that. Her rocket took her there. She steered it down and landed on the chair. So, go out tonight, look up at the stars above, and you might see the cat sitting on the chair she loves. Thank you for the grapes. Thank you for the grapes. The grapes are great. Thank you for the grapes. I'll pull a grape off the bunch. The grapes are great. I pull a grape off the bunch. I put the grape in my mouth. The grapes are great. I put the grape in my mouth. I go back to the bunch. The grapes are great. I go back to the bunch, and the bunch is just the same. The grapes are great. The bunch is just the same. No matter how many I pick, the grapes are great. No matter how many I pick, the bunch stays just the same. The bunch stays just the same. You think you know. You think you know who's who. You think it's me, but it's you. You think you know where we are. You think it's near, but it's far. You think you know when it is. You think it's mine, but it's his. You think you know why I don't. You think I will, but I won't. You think you know what's what. You think I'm here, but I'm not. The smenge. Oh, the smenge, the smenge. What is the smenge? The parents ask the child. It's big, it's small, it's round, it's square, it's kind of sort of wild. The smenge, the smenge. What is the smenge? The parents want to know. It's loud, it's quiet, it sits, it runs, it's kind of sort of slow. The smenge, the smenge. What is the smenge? The parents want an answer. It jumps, it leaps, it growls, it purrs, it's kind of a sort of dancer. The smenge, the smenge. What is the smenge? The parents are in despair. It's up, it's down, it's there, it's here, it's kind of sort of everywhere. The smenge, the smenge. What is the smenge? The parents don't know what. It's a thing, I think. A thing. I've kind of, sort of forgot. Little Queenie. Little Queenie, you know you're a meanie, sitting in the middle of a great big hall. Little Queenie, you know you're a meanie, hating the way you're much too small. You think if you pick on someone very big, someone much bigger than you, you think if you pick on someone very big, that you will get very big too. You yell and you shout, you boss us about, screaming till your face goes blue. You yell and you shout, you boss us about, but we know what you're trying to do. Little Queenie, you know you're a meanie, but nothing you do ever works. Little Queenie, you know you're a meanie, but nothing you do ever hurts. Tony Cross, please don't make Tony cross. Tony Curry, did you give Tony curry? Tony George, George meet Tony, George. Tony Heard, do you know what Tony heard? Tony Man, Tony Man. It's real cool, Tony Man. Tony read, Tony read. Ask the teacher, can Tony read? Tony what? Tony what? You'll give Tony what? Tony Wild, Tony Wild. The naughty cat made Tony wild. Riding down to Boxland. Riding down to Boxland where people live in boxes. Riding down to Boxland, the people live in boxes. No chickens there, been eaten by the foxes. Riding down to Boxland, saw a box looking good. Riding down to Boxland, found a box looking good. Wanted to knock on the box, wondered if I should. Riding down to Boxland, I knocked on the lid. Riding down to Boxland, knock, knock on the lid. Though I knocked loud, you'd never know I did. Riding down to Boxland, no answer from inside. Riding down to Boxland, not a sound from inside. I picked up the box to take it for a ride. Riding back from Boxland, the box coming with me. Riding back from Boxland, the box coming with me. Laid it out at home for everyone to see. When I got back from Boxland, everyone was there. I was back from Boxland, everyone was there. No one looked inside, there was no one who dared. Inky Stinky Skullface, doesn't like his dad. Inky Stinky Skullface thinks his dad is bad. Hobbly Bobbly Pimple Chops looks like Stinky's dad. So Inky Stinky Skullface thinks Hobbly Bobbly's bad. My drink started to stink. My dumpling was crumpling. Dinner disaster, my head was spinning faster and faster. My bread was turning red, my peas began to sneeze. Faster and faster, faster and faster, we were heading for dinner disaster. My eggs were growing legs, my beans were wearing jeans, my pie winked its eye, my rice was chasing mice. At 5:30, my dinner was alive. At 8:30, so was my plate. At the end of the day, my dinner ran away. No more dinner, no more dinner. This happens every day and I'm getting thinner. Windscreen wipers. My windscreen wipers don't want to wipe. They're old and tired and need a rest. They've swished and swashed for years and years. They think they've done their best. So I took them off and brought them home and gave them each a chair. They sit and watch old movies or simply sit and stare. They do the snake who cleaned windows, the windscreen vipers joke. Yeah. They talk of scrapes and dangers, like the time the windscreen broke. They read the papers, have a stretch, and after they have fed, they have a wash, clean their teeth, and settle down in bed. My windscreen still gets dirty and wet. It looks smarter than it's been. 2 new wipers, strong and fast, wipe the windscreen clean. Pa-chum, 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 pa-chum. Our party. Come to our party. It's going to be a crazy thing. You won't have to dance. You won't have to sing. Come to our party. Please don't make a mess. Come how you like. No need for fancy dress. Come to our party. Don't bring beers. Please bring your sobs. Please bring your tears. Come to our party. Come for a shout. Come for an hour. Cry your eyes out. Come to our party. You'll cry and cry. We've got plenty of water so you won't get dry. Come to our party. Come for the night because it's time to cry with all your might. Treasure. I knew a woman who looked for treasure. She said she did it just for pleasure. To me that sounded a little bit funny. I'm sure she was after a load of money. One day she was digging in an old football pitch. An odd place to dig if you want to get rich. Better to dig in castles and forts. But a few feet down, she found some shorts. She realised, as the shorts were uncovered, something special had been discovered. No question about it, this was a stunning find. They were giant shorts for a giant behind. Straight away the shorts were shown on TV all over the world. Crowds gathered to see these incredible shorts from underground, the biggest shorts that have ever been found. The experts appeared to talk us through. Someone wore these shorts, we can't say who. They may have been rich, maybe poor, a footballer perhaps, or a dinosaur. Soon there were pictures of the shorts being worn, explanations of why they were torn, giant footballers scoring brilliant goals, cartoons with arrows pointing to the holes. Everyone thinks they've got the answer, or nearly, but no one knows anything about them, really. People keep pretending they're seriously wise about underground shorts of an incredible size. And I know this sounds a little bit soppy, but a museum in Florida made a copy to show that the shorts were really wide. They say a whole school climbed inside. The woman, I'm afraid, never got rich. The government closed the football pitch. There's a book called Shorts in Ancient History. But to tell the truth, it's all a mystery. Clever cakes and other stories. Old Greyface. Once upon a time in China, there were 3 little girls called Seng, Ton and Pokey. Seng was the oldest. One day their mum said, "I'm going on a long journey to see my mother, your grandmother. I won't get back till tomorrow morning. So Seng, you look after Ton and Pokey. Stay in the house and don't let anyone come in." Outside, old Greyface, the wolf, watched the girl's mum leave the house. He waited till it got dark and then crept up to the door. Up he got on his back legs and tightened his throat to make his voice sound high. Then he knocked on the door and called out in a squeaky voice, "Open up the door for your poor old granny." "But Mum's on her way to see you," said Seng. "Oh dear," squeaked old Greyface. "We must have missed each other on the way. Let me in, girls." "Your voice sounds a bit funny, Granny," said Seng. But Ton and Pokey ran and opened the door. In stepped the wolf and quickly blew out the candle so the girls couldn't see him. "Why did you blow out the candle, Granny?" asked Seng. "Oh, the light hurts my eyes," said old Greyface. Then he lowered himself down onto a chair. He screamed, for he had sat right down on his tail. "What's the matter, Granny?" asked Seng. It's my back," said the wolf. "This chair's not very comfortable for me. I think I'll sit in your basket." Old Greyface stepped over to the basket and dropped into it, exhausted from all this walking about on his hind legs. But as he dropped down, he let his tail flop into the basket after him. "What was that noise?" said Seng. "What noise?" said old Greyface. "That," said Seng. "Ah, yes," said old Greyface. "That's the chicken I've brought for your mother, dear." Seng peered through the darkness. This wasn't Granny, she was sure. She thought quickly. Then she said, "Do you like nuts, Granny?" "Nuts? What nuts?" said old Greyface. Magic yum-yum nuts," said Seng. Oh, they're delicious. If you eat one, you want another. And when you eat another, you want another and another and another." "Are they nicer to eat than little girls?" said old Greyface. "Oh, yes, much nicer," said Seng. "Where are these magic yum-yum nuts?" said old Greyface. "I must have some." They grow on the tree at the corner of the house. I tell you what, Granny, you wait here and we'll go and get you some of the magic yum-yum nuts." "You never told us about them," said Ton. "Shh," said Seng. "Just follow me." When they got outside, Seng said to her sisters, "Listen, it isn't Granny, it's a wolf." "Oh no, what do we do now?" asked Pokey. "Follow me," said Seng, and she climbed up the tree. Ton and Pokey followed after. Back in the old house, old Greyface waited and waited. In the end, he went out to look for the girls. "Where are you, girls?" he called out. "Up here, Granny," said Seng. "These magic yum-yum nuts are so delicious. They're the sweetest, juiciest things you'll ever taste in all your life." "But Granny," said Seng, "these are magic nuts, and the moment they leave the tree, they turn into wood. You'll have to come up, if you want some, and bite them off the tree, just like we do." "Don't tell him to come up here," said Ton. "He'll eat us up." "Shush," said Seng. Poor old Greyface. He walked and walked round the tree. He didn't know what to do. He couldn't climb trees. "Your granny's too old to climb the tree," he said. "Show a little respect and kindness to your elders. Come down here." "Oh, wait, Granny," said Seng. "I've got an idea. Back in the house, there's a long piece of rope. Bring the rope and the big basket you sat in, and we can pull you up to the top of the tree. Then you'll be able to eat all the magic yum-yum nuts you like." By now, the wolf was desperate to eat the nuts, or the girls, or both. He ran to the house and rushed back to the tree with the rope and the basket in a trice. He threw the rope up into the air. The girls caught it, and then he tied the rope to the basket and climbed in. "Come on, girls, pull me up," shouted old Greyface. Oh, he was so excited. Sen pulled and pulled. Up went the basket, up, 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 till suddenly, flip! Seng let go of the rope. Down went the wolf and landed on the ground with a great big wham. "Oh, I'm sorry, Granny," shouted Seng. I'm not very strong. Are you all right?" "Oh, my head," said old Greyface. "Listen, get one of your sisters to help you next time. Now pull me up." Up, up, up went the basket, even higher this time. Then, flip! They let go of the rope, and down went the wolf again. Wham! "Oh, Granny, I'm so sorry," said Seng. "The rope slipped through our fingers. Are you all right?" "Oh, my legs," said old Greyface. He was in agony. But now he was even more desperate to get to the girls and the nuts. "Listen," he roared, not bothering to sound like Granny any more. "Pull me up, all three of you, and quick." So now all three girls worked together, pulling up the wolf in the basket. "When you reach the top," called out Seng, "the magic yum-yum nuts will make you better." "Now you be careful this time," said old Greyface. "If the basket falls, I'll gobble you all up." Up, up, up went the basket, nearer and nearer to the girls. Up, up came old Greyface. He opened his mouth wide. The girls could see every tooth in his mouth. When, flip, they let go of the rope again. Pew! And down fell the wolf. Wham! And that was the end of old Greyface. When Mum came home in the morning, you can be sure they had a tale and a half to tell her. Well, with me today is Francesca Simon, author of, as you may know, the great Horrid Henry books. Look at that great big stack I've got there, Francesca, all owned by my son, who was very cross that I came away with them. He wanted to be absolutely sure I was coming back with them.
Did he count them out?
He didn't. He did trust me, which is quite rare. And we'll also talk about a much newer book, The Monstrous Child. What a terrible title. So quite scary. Talking of that, I think this is your latest, isn't it?
It is,
It is your latest, The Monstrous Child. It says on the front, it's a fizzing, gory read. So we know what fizzing is. Gory means full of blood, just in case you didn't know that. At times,
stop watching now.
The Times says it's monstrously good, and the bookseller says it's dark and very funny. So what I thought we could do this time is we're going to ask Francesca to read the first paragraph. So this is about how you begin a story. How do you dive in? How do you grab an audience? So I'm going to ask Francesca to read this first paragraph, and then we're going to go over some of the words in this first paragraph in order to find out how you did it. So here we go. First paragraph of The Monstrous Child by Francesca Simon.
Chapter 1, corpse baby. You'd think after my brother the snake was born, they'd have stopped at one. But no. Next was the wolf Fenrir, and then me. How Mum must have hoped when my top half slithered out that it was third time lucky. A human head! Praise the blood mother! Pink cheeks, pale skin! No scales! 2 arms, 10 little fingers at the end of 2 dimpled hands. Oh, thank you, blood mother. Thank you, Hecla, the fierce one, earth spewer, ancestors all. Finally, finally, I am blessed. Oh, sound the horns, bang the drums. My darling, my baby, my beauty, almost there.
So there is the opening of a story. So, Francesca,
Yes.
I'm getting here quite a lot of shock, quite a lot of, wow, what's going on here? So first of all, we have 2 words next to each other at the opening of the book, corpse baby. Now this is quite scary because straight away this is very shocking because obviously we think of babies as new life, and then you've got this word corpse, which means dead body. So this is top shock, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, we are just a tiny bit of background. This is about the Norse goddess of the dead, who is half human, half corpse. So she's human from the waist up and a corpse from the waist down.
But we don't know that yet.
No.
I know you're telling us that.
We don't.
So let's stay for the
sorry.
moment. No, that's fine. That's lovely that you've said that. But so just strictly
from this.
I've just read this and I read corpse baby and I think,
There's something very odd about this.
It's odd but also horrific. And then we say, you'd think after my brother the snake was born. And then immediately I'm thinking, what? You got a brother who was a snake?
That she's very matter of fact about.
Yeah.
She's not saying, "Oh no, my brother was." She's going, "You'd think."
She's straight in there.
She's straight in there,
laying it on us. Yeah.
Also, that it's her telling the story, and that there's something sort of sarcastic about her voice. You'd think after my brother the snake was born, they'd have stopped at one. So she's talking about her parents.
Yes.
So we know she's a child.
And we know she's got views of her parents that are quite kind of aggressive, negative.
And that she has a snake who's a brother.
Yeah. And then just in style there, you say it's first person, so it's you, the person who's telling the story. You would think after my brother the snake was born, they'd have stopped at one, full stop, but no, full stop. So that's very conversational, isn't it? So that's not, a grammatical sentence, but the fun of it is that you whack back. You'd have thought this, but no. So you're already setting up a bit of an argument, aren't you?
You are, and that she's quite an aggressive. So in one sentence, you have a really strong, aggressive voice.
Yeah.
Sarcastic voice.
And then we got next was the wolf Fenrir. So you've not only got a brother who was a snake, you've also got a brother who was a wolf. And if you know your Norse gods, you know this was the mighty Fenrir who bust open chains. He was so powerful they had to tie him up with a magical chain, but it doesn't matter. And then you put full stop, and then me full stop. So now you've built up. So this is building to a little mini climax, isn't it? And then me. So you must be pretty important if you've got a snake and a wolf as brothers.
And then you.
Who are you?
But but also
we don't
you're
know
not
yet,
you're not of this world. You're someone a little bit different.
Just
that's
a little
for
bit.
Sure.
And also, this is quite spooky world. I mean, how Mum must have hoped. So, of course, that's quite funny. You're in this sort of fictional, mythological area, but then you call Mum.
Like she's like it's an ordinary family.
You haven't called her Mighty Woman or Terror Woman. You've just called her Mum, which is quite funny. So a special word for that, bathos, where you bring things down to real. How Mum must have hoped when my top half slithered out that it was third time lucky. Now, when I heard that, I thought, you mean you'd be an even more monstrous, or that you'd be a human? What would Mum want? So I've suddenly found myself thinking, well, what does that mean? So you're pulling me in as a reader. I'm thinking, well, what would lucky be?
Because the whole point of, when you write a story is that you want people to read it. And you want people to want to read it. You want to kind of hook them in. So for me, what was quite grabbing about this, because the voice came to me immediately. I've never had that happen before.
Oh, right.
In a book, where the voice came into my head, and that was the sentence. And I knew then I was going to write this book, and I kept
wow.
that sentence. So it was like she emerged fully formed in my head.
Yes.
But because it was exactly what you've said, it's that combination of modern and mythological. Because I think it's sometimes people fall into this idea that if they're writing about mythology or the past, that people spoke in ye oldie worldy tones, and they know that they're very important. No, they
Yes.
don't. She's like an angry teenager.
Yeah, great. And then we go on, a human head, praise the blood mother. So that's this character saying praise the blood mother, meaning her mum.
Well, so her mum, she's watching her mum give birth to her.
She's watching herself being
Born. How mum must have hoped when my top half slithered out that it was third time lucky. So then she adopts her mother's voice. A human head, praise the blood mother. Pink cheeks, oh my gosh, I'm lucky, I'm blessed at last. And then blood mother, who's the blood mother?
Yes, we don't know. But again, like corpse baby, blood mother is one of the, it's quite horrifying phrase you've come up with.
And she's so thrilled that there's no scales.
Like
so
a
she's
fish
watching.
or a reptile.
Well, she's had a snake.
Oh yeah, of course.
So she's experienced a baby as a snake.
Yeah.
So no fur. So she's got pink cheeks and pale skin. So already it's not an animal.
Yeah.
So maybe this will be and my gosh, it's got 2 arms and 10 little fingers. And then she's
2
giving
dimpled
thanks
hands.
to lots of
Oh, thank you, blood mother. So who's saying, oh, thank you, blood mother?
her Hell's mother.
Yeah. Thank you, Heckler the Fierce One. So we've got a character now. Yeah. Earth Spewer. So that's one of those very old phrases where we can bring things together to describe something. Earth Spewer, like we say skyscraper to mean a high-rise flat. Earth Spewer, called a kenning. Ancestors all. So there's a long line of you.
Of these old gods, yeah.
Yeah. Finally, I am blessed. So that's mum saying that.
That's all mum, and I should carry on just reading a little bit more.
Oh, sound the horns, bang the drums, my darling, my baby, my beauty, almost there. So this is the first person, the daughter, imagining she's mum, and so talking in the mum's voice, yeah?
Because then it goes, so again the mum, panting, straining, pushing. A little god? A little goddess? Who cared, just so long as... And then slither, plop. Out I come, dangling my rotting legs. Corpse baby, carrion tot, the third monster.
Oh, don't go on.
I won't.
That's awful. Yes. I bet you're half scared yourself by it, aren't you? A little bit.
You know what was very strange about this book?
You're a mother.
No, but what is strange about this book was that I kind of got used to it. And so I gave it to my dad to read, and he wrote back to me and he said, you know what? He said, I think this is your best book, but I have to tell you that a few putrids go a long way, because I was really getting into describing the kingdom of the dead. It just became normal for me.
Yes.
And you can sort of forget sometimes that what you're talking about is really horrible.
Yes.
Carrion.
Well, you've been the way you use these little short sentences, single words, it's made it very punchy. So one way you've built up the tension, instead of having great long sentences with an on the one hand and on the other and then this and that, you've just punched it out, panting, straining, pushing. A little god, you haven't said, is it a little god? You just say, a little god. So this is, just in these first 100 or so words, you've pulled us into this horrific world of birth. We've got lineage, in other words, we've got a dynasty going on of where these people are. We've got monsters and so on. This is a disgusting book, Francesca. How dare you? Wonderful. What a great, great opening. Fantastic.
Thank you. I loved writing this book. It was because I felt I was kind of channeling her voice, and that's another thing about listening. If you have a character with a really strong personality and a really strong voice, actually letting them talk, listening to your characters is, I think, really important. And this character was so strong that I would just sit down and I would just hear her all the time. It was strange. That doesn't usually happen. This was exceptional, this one. It's quite a ferocious book. But it's funny, but ferocious.
Wonderful. Francesca Simon, thanks ever so much indeed.
Thank you.
That's lovely that
Thank
you
you,
came
Michael.
and talked to us. Now, it would be great if you subscribed. That is, you become a subscriber. Look out for the subscribe button. What happens, you see, is that I make new vids every few months, and then I post them up one a week. So if you subscribe, you get to see the new ones just as they come hot off the press. Eeeew.